Hold on to your hats, everyone, because this is outright madness. I'm Desmond from Plus 10 Damage, and this is Super Time Force. Super Time Force from Cappy Games is one hell of a chaotic wild ride. This retro-style 2D shooter borrows heavily from classic titles such as Contra and Mega Man, but modernized for the HD era with the addition of a time manipulation mechanic. How it works is not easy to explain, so here goes. At any given time, or when your hero is killed, the action is immediately paused. You are then able to rewind the game to any point in the level and continue on with a new member of the team, or the same one if you so choose. You are then thrown right back into the action, joined by a copy of your last player. After this initial time wind, you can then rewind time and keep stacking these ghosts as long as you have lives. And in customary Contra style, you start with 30 of them. If I were to sum up this bizarre concept in 2 words, it would be absolute insanity. Make no bones about it, Super Time Force is extremely difficult. This game pulls no punches and immediately throws you into the deep end of the pool. Imagine missing that crucial jump in Super Mario Bros. And replaying that death over and over again until you get it right. That's the feeling I got when I initially started playing Super Time Force. I approached the game like I was playing a classic 2D shooter and I died a lot. Many times I felt as if I was banging my head against a brick wall, and the game was very tough at the get-go. Now after an intro level, the game opens up to a Mega Man style stage select screen, where you are free to try out the various levels. From a Mad Max infused dystopia, to dinosaurs, to a floating car future, expect the full gamut of wackiness. The humor and storyline is typical goofy Cappy writing, and it's got loads of charm. Be prepared for tons of lighthearted Saturday morning cartoon style humor. So for a demanding game that thrives on complete mayhem, the boss battles are a complete reverse of the coin. You would think that Super Time Force would ramp up the difficulty to an even more insane stratosphere for the boss fights. I just assumed that they'd throw everything but the kitchen sink at me, causing frenzied sensory overload. But oddly enough, the boss battles are weirdly strategic in nature. It's all about stacking your ghosts and placing them in the correct positions. Super Time Force nearly turns into an action puzzle game during these sequences. It was around my 4th or 5th boss encounter where a light bulb went off inside my head. As I said before, if you approach Super Time Force like Contra, you're going to be in for a really hard time. That's when it hit me. This is not a shooter. Super Time Force is a clever, tactical, almost strategy action game. Wrap your head around that one. Once I changed my approach to the game from mindless bullet hell to tactically mixing up the various heroes with their unique abilities, that's when everything changed. Working with your ghosts is essential to progressing through the levels. Gathering extra lives and collectibles would be near impossible without setting complex trick shots. When these multi-part setups go off successfully, the result is immensely satisfying. This is the point where I found the fun in Super Time Force, and it was a great feeling. Now, one of the awesome gems of Super Time Force is the end level replays, and they're simply tons of fun to watch. Basically what happens is the game shows you what your level run would look like in real time, minus all the pausing and rewinds. The resulting playback rounds out the whole wacky fun experience, and I had a really great time laughing while watching them. The uber-talented developers over at Cappy have once again knocked it out of the park in the sound and audio department. The music is all ultra cool retro 8-bit synth style, and each track goes with the game perfectly. All the joyful, chaotic sound effects totally reminded me of walking into a noisy arcade for the first time. Now I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Super Time Force is a challenging game to say the least. I would go as far as say that there is a slight balancing issue here, and the game would benefit from an easy mode or solid go-to characters to start with. This would go far to ease in more casual players. But if you're patient and skilled enough to swim in the deep end with the big kids, then you're going to have an absolute blast. It's a wacky game where you just never seem to have enough time. I give Super Time Force an 8 out of 10. Well, that's it, everyone. Thanks again for watching, and feel free to leave any comments in the section below. And for more great articles and reviews, head on over to Plus 10 Damage. And until next time, game on.